Hey Waffle Gang, I do hope you are well. My name is Mark and today we're checking out some more Reddit stories, and if you do love a Reddit story, why not consider hitting that like, subscribe, maybe that notification bell too, and let's crack on with today's first story. Much love guys. Now today's first story comes from Meow Meow Kitty Cat 21 and it's titled My Friend / Bridesmaid 28 Female dropped out of the wedding / ended our friendship and sent me 25 female a text months later. I'm not sure how to / if I should respond. Diane and I had been friends for 5 years, and I thought her to be one of my closest friends. I was a bridesmaid in her wedding last year, and she was supposed to be one in mine this year. Things seemed normal. We work at the same company and had lunch most days. She went dress shopping with me and got her bridesmaid's dress for the wedding. We got our nails done together regularly. Her husband was super excited for our wedding, etc. Nothing really felt out of the ordinary to me. Then in February she told me she couldn't be a bridesmaid anymore. I initially thought it was a time / money thing, but then she said it was because she didn't feel like our friendship was in a good place and that our lives were going in different directions and there was too much rivalry between us. I honestly didn't know what she was talking about. I asked her what this meant then. Were we still friends? Was she still coming to the wedding as a guest? She said she didn't know, but still wanted to have lunch once in a while. I told her that I couldn't do that. It felt too much like trying to stay friends with an ex. If she felt so strongly about us, then I'd rather not have a half-assed friend like that. So I deleted her number, threw out the trinkets from her wedding and such. It honestly felt like a romantic breakup, but I got over it. Today, out of nowhere, she texted me a screenshot of a Facebook pic of my cat with a toy she bought her, hence she was tagged 4 years ago. It was one of those Facebook remember this things and this text. I know you still don't want anything to do with me, and that's cool, but this came up on my Facebook newsfeed, and I thought I would send it along. I almost forgot how little she was when you first got her, and a happy anniversary with her because I know that was last week. I feel like she makes it sound like I ended our friendship for no apparent reason. I'm not sure how to feel about this, and I just haven't replied. I probably won't, but I just feel confused and maybe just needed to vent. What do you think? Now my first thoughts were just why. I know she said they'll go in different directions, etc., but it just felt weird to me. And sometimes friendships do end, they do go their separate ways naturally, but she can't be the one to end it and then act surprised that OP isn't interested in keeping one foot in the door, right? And to me it felt like the cat photo almost felt like Diane was just testing the waters. Maybe she regretted her decision, maybe she genuinely saw the memory and thought of OP, something along those lines, but it did feel like she was testing things to me. One of the top commenters said to OP, "Don't get sucked back in." OP says, "I don't plan on it." I summarized it here, but there was a whole week of her going back and forth on being a bridesmaid and being friends. I had to pull teeth to even get the explanation that it did. It was such a terrible experience that I'm never going back to it. Love Bamboo says, "It appears that the rationale your ex-friend gave for ending the friendship didn't make sense to you, and her behavior then and now is really bizarre. You have every right not to respond. While it's purely speculation, it sounds like your ex-friend might not be all there." Opie says, "I've talked to a few people about it. A friend, my fiance, and my hairdresser, and they basically said the same thing. I think it's just best to ignore the text." So OP does come back in with an update sometime later and says, "Hello there. It's been a week and I have some updates, so I figured I'd close the loop for anyone that was interested. First of all, I'd like to thank everyone who commented and helped talk some sense into me. It really was a wake-up call since these past few months. I just thought I did something wrong or it was a mystery. But as most people concluded for me, Diane was having issues of her own and took it out on me. So shocker, I didn't text her back. I just ignored it. I did get some insight today though, so keep reading if you're curious about that. So Diane and I have, I guess I should say had, one mutual friend left. Her name is Cindy, 30 female. So a little background. Diane and I used to work in the same department when we started working at this company years ago and became friends. Diane would eventually leave the department because she said she wanted to grow, but constantly still tried to butt in and tell me what to do. Last year, Cindy joined that department as I was leaving, so the three of us became friends. Cindy is still in that old department now. So since the whole ending of our friendship in February, I told Cindy I'm totally cool with her being friends with Diane and also stayed totally neutral whenever Diane came up. But today, Cindy exploded to me over lunch about Diane and it all came out. Apparently Diane has been feeling very insecure about her life versus mine, and has been going for promotion after promotion whenever a job opened at the company, and has been rejected every time, so when I got mine it was too much for her. She's also apparently been really upset about her weight. She's a size 16. When I started losing weight for my wedding, I was a 6 when I got engaged and now I'm a size 2. She was also upset. She's also upset that I bought a bigger house and a new car, paid in full this year. So why did Cindy tell me all this? Apparently Diane has also been butting into Cindy's work also, and also criticizing everything Cindy does. Her diet, her dating life, her dog, and Cindy finally had enough and cut Diane out and wanted to vent all this to me that she knew Diane and I also stopped being friends. TLDR, so long story short, Diane is toxic and insecure, and Cindy and I are happier without her. Happy ending after all? Commodore says, oh man, I hope Diane gets some help. I feel bad for her, but of course there are better ways to react to your life going poorly than lashing out at your friends. She should be happy for you, or maybe even ask you for advice about her career or dieting or whatever. It must be hard to see your friends succeeding while you stagnate, but she ought to be looking inward rather than comparing herself to everyone around her. Linda the Great says, I've never pulled a Diane on anyone, but truth be told, I've thought about it. Opie is not only more successful than her, but wildly so from how she describes it here. Opie says, I think it's okay to cut someone out of your life if you feel you're unhealthily comparing yourself to them or just unhappy with them. But it would have been nice if Diane just told me this instead of making me feel like I did something wrong and left me with no closure for months. Commodore says, I bet she knew it was wrong though. I mean, since telling you would have had no benefit, what would you have done? Quit your job / gain back the weight? If she really couldn't get over the feeling, she probably figured it was better just to part ways rather than guilt trip you. That's a bummer though. Commodore says, I think I would have just appreciated something like, I need to work on myself for a while or anything like that. All I got was a, I don't know what's wrong, and it's not that I don't like you, but also I don't want to be friends, but I kind of want to have lunch sometimes. When OP was asked if she is the competitive one and doesn't realize it when telling her friend about her accomplishments, OP says, I stated all these facts because I'm explaining a situation to strangers on the internet, so I'm trying to be as descriptive as possible, but I obviously never mentioned this to her in that way. You're a size 16 and I'm a size 2. I obviously did tell her about these things that were happening because she was my close friend. You tell your friends when you get a new job or get a house. I've never said, hey Diane, I got a house that's bigger than yours. But in this post I had to describe it to you strangers what the situation is because to Diane and I, we both already know the sizes of our houses if that makes sense. So things sound more comparative on here than they were in our real life relationship. In real life it was more like, oh my god, future husband and I are about to close on a house. But now I'm going to turn this one to you guys. What do you guys make of this situation? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below and let's move on to another story. Now our next story comes from the Am I the Arsehole subreddit from Nearby Comfortable 79 and says, Am I the arsehole for walking out of a dinner after being accused of supporting incest? Hey, I'm posting on here because I need people's opinions on this. It's so fucking stupid and such a non-issue, unless I'm wrong about that too. That turned into something bigger. For reference, this happened on Thursday evening. We're all in our early 20s and all names are fake. Thursday was our friend Sarah's birthday. To celebrate, our friend group decided to go out for dinner. There were about 10 of us. Everyone was in a good mood and it was really nice to just talk to everybody about whatever for hours, especially since I kind of had a stressful week. Hours into the dinner, we landed on the topic of movies / TV shows that we were watching. Our friend Amy mentioned a show that I also watched. As soon as she brought it up, I said that I really liked the show and that the acting, writing and directing was top notch. Mary chimed in and said that she didn't really like the show and how she'd been watching other things. Cool, to each their own. Mary then asked me how I felt about the main romantic pairing in the show. I responded that I liked it and thought that the romance was cute. This is where the drama started. For context, I don't want to get too much into it because it might be confusing, but basically the main romantic pairing is between the male lead and the female lead. There are some people who have interpreted that these characters to be related to each other. I do not, but I know people are free to think whatever they want, and honestly thought that this topic was harmless. Well, I was wrong. Mary took offense to me saying that I liked the romance. She asked me if I supported incest. I said of course not, as the characters are not related. She said that they are related and that me supporting their pairing is supporting incest. Mary then said that I should educate myself before saying stupid shit. I was dumbfounded and thought she was joking, but she was really angry with me about this. She told me to rethink my values because supporting incest makes me a horrible person. I told her she was making harmful accusations over a TV show. Our other friends were telling her to stop, including Sarah, but she kept claiming that I was a disgusting incest supporter. She then claimed I was homophobic since the male lead is bisexual, but still ended up with a woman. Mary just wouldn't stop saying shit like this. So here is where I may be the arsehole. I left Sarah's dinner. My friends were asking me to stay, but I felt uncomfortable. So I paid for what I ordered and left. Many of my friends reached out to me on Friday to ask if I was okay. Some of them, while they understood why I was upset, said that it was wrong of me to leave Sarah's birthday dinner and that I should have just ignored what Mary was saying and stuck around. I feel like they may be right and I may have ruined their birthday by getting up and leaving, but I felt like I couldn't stay because of Mary throwing accusations at me over something that doesn't matter. Haunted Reader says, not the arsehole, and Mary seems like she takes things far too seriously. I'm super curious what the show is though. Do you mind sharing? And Opie replied saying, Loki. Haunted Reader replies saying, see, this doesn't even make sense with her argument. It wouldn't be incest because the two aren't related. They're literally different variants of the exact same person. It definitely falls on the weird side of things, but definitely doesn't count as incest. Also, I'm going to assume neither of you finished the series yet, so I'm even more confused by this take. In case you're watching Loki at the minute, there might be a spoiler in this next section, so you might want to skip 30 seconds or so. But OP replied saying, I finished the series. I don't know about Mary. I know that they don't end up together, but the point is that even in season 2, the implication is still there. But Mary was just upset that they were romantic in the first place. Commenter says, Mary is a clear arsehole. There's no question here, and a very stupid arsehole. If she thinks that bi people ending up in a relationship with someone of the opposite binary gender is homophobic. Clue: half the people that a typical bisexual person is attracted to are of the opposite gender. You might actually expect bi people to be in a relationship with someone of the opposite gender significantly more often than half the time. If you're a bi man, then your set of possible partners are for the sake of argument, and there's some simplification of sexuality here. Gay men, bi women, and straight women. The largest of these groupings, by quite a long way, is the group of straight women, not the arsehole. And one more comment from Purple Mars Alien who says, not the arsehole. Mary is acting weird. Attacking someone over vanished beliefs that are not part of current canon is being rather extra and over the top. And even if this eventually becomes part of canon, someone who, like the couple when it was not canon, were supporting incest, they would have been misled by the creators. Now, I haven't seen this series at all, but the fact that OP said that they don't see it that way was basically it for me. You don't have to agree with their interpretation, but once they've explained it, that's basically the end of the discussion. For Mary then to keep calling OP an incest supporter and then somehow throw in accusations of homophobia over a TV show was just ridiculous. I'd have walked out too. But nearly a month later, OP does update the post and says, hi everyone. First, thank you all for your comments and advice on my last post. It's been about 4 weeks since the incident at the dinner, and I just wanted to give you guys an update if you are curious. First off, I just want to say that I have no hard feelings towards my friends who said that I should have stayed. I get me leaving was probably the best thing to do in that situation, but their intentions were purely good, to make sure that Sarah enjoyed her birthday dinner. I reached out to Sarah and apologized for what happened, and for me leaving so abruptly. She said that I didn't need to apologize and said that all was good between us. I took her out for drinks and we had a great time. Now on to Mary. Since the dinner I've been texting and calling her just to talk about what happened. So far she has either ignored my texts and called or given me very short responses, either telling me that she doesn't want to talk to me or that she's busy. Sarah told me that she also reached out to Mary, and while she was actually willing to talk to Sarah, the conversation pretty much went nowhere. Amy also reached out to her. Like many of you were wondering, she asked her if she was a victim of incest. I mean, it would make sense based on her reaction. However, according to Mary herself, no, she wasn't. As far as I know, she isn't bisexual either, so it just seems she's throwing a tantrum over things that have nothing to do with her. Or it's possible that she's been spending too much time in online fandoms, but who knows? Now for me, I'd be taking a step back from this situation. OP's already done more than enough trying to extend that olive branch by talking to Mary, and she just seems to be completely ignoring OP, so I ain't got time for that kind of stuff, right? So what do you guys think of this situation? What would you do if it was you? Have you seen the series? What do you think? Let us know your thoughts, and let's move on to another story. Now our next story comes from Cloudy Side 7 and says, "My dad ate my birthday cake." I've been seeing a lot of videos about how men will weaponize food and how it's seen as acceptable for men to eat up a lot of food, even if it means other people won't get any of it. The same situation happens a lot with my dad, but I guess I had assumed that since it was my birthday, I'd get some of my birthday cake. This happened about 2 weeks ago, but I'm still pissed off and really upset about it. I made a birthday cake for my birthday, which was 2 weeks ago. I had one slice of my cake the day of my birthday. Within 2 to 3 days, the cake was gone. My dad ate almost the entire cake and left the empty container in the fridge. I told him several times to slow down and even bluntly to stop eating it because he was going back for multiple slices a day. It was also in the fridge and later freezer, so it wouldn't go bad. I was pretty upset about it and tried to complain about it to my mum, but she yelled at me that I was a bad person for tempting him, that it was rude and cruel of me to leave food in the fridge and not expect people to eat it. I never said he couldn't have cake. I just wanted to have my birthday cake. I don't know what exactly it is I'm feeling about this whole thing. Sadness and rage, I guess. I feel like I should be over it, but I keep getting reminded that I only got one small slice of my birthday cake before a grown man ate the entire rest of it, and it was a really good cake too. Sigh. I know I could just make another cake, but I'm still upset that I'll never get back it being my birthday cake. Does that even make sense? I guess it's also the concept that I told him to stop and he still ate the cake. Also that he left the empty container in the fridge. Also, it was a fairly big cake. It's not something that should have been gone in 2 to 3 days, considering it's just me and my parents. Guess I'm just venting, but also wondering why it's acceptable for men to do this to their families, but women are the bad guys for getting upset about it. Why is it okay for a man to eat almost his daughter's entire birthday cake, but she's the rude one for being upset about it? ETA, the reason I didn't eat the cake in those 2 to 3 days is because I was constantly out of the house and doing stuff. I went to get a piece on the evening of the 3rd day and saw the empty container in the fridge. The pieces I had put in the freezer were gone, and I checked as well. There was none left. I didn't think I needed to force myself to eat the cake those days because I kept seeing the container in the fridge. ETA 2, that everyone saying cake goes bad after 2 to 3 days. The cake was in a container in the fridge. That makes it last longer, and a simple Google search will tell you that generally speaking cakes can last 5 to 7 days if stored properly. It was literally in a cake container, the kind they sell to keep cakes fresh longer. ETA 3. I know I literally said it was a bit of a trend to see those stories posted around, but I'm actually still shocked at how many people have either a very similar or the exact same situation happen to them. And I will say I know it's not all men. I have a primarily male friend group, so I definitely know that the majority of men are not like this. I was more so saying that this specific mentality only seems to be present in men, and I never see women doing this. It's not all men, but it always seems to be a man. So there was clearly some comments focusing on whether the cake lasts 3 or 7 days, and that's just completely missing the point. It was her birthday cake. Most people would expect to enjoy it over several days, not feeling like they have to fucking inhale the thing before someone else does. And it just made me incredibly sad for OP, because it's just so incredibly selfish to do this to your own child. I can get being tempted by a birthday cake, but you'd ask the person, is it okay if I have a slice of it, or something along those lines. And the fact that you left the empty container is adding insult to injury straight away, isn't it? And the mum's response as well, you tempted him. I mean, come on, he's a grown man, not a bloody toddler, is he? I can't see it happening, but I hope in the update that these parents are going to be doing some reflection or something here. OP on the birthday tradition and cake. OP says, my dad loved ice cream cake and I loathed ice cream cake. That was a quote. Then says, honestly, my entire birthday was just this. I wanted a chocolate pistachio cake. He didn't. I ended up getting a vanilla cake, which he wanted. I didn't want any ice cream this year and he complained and then went out and bought himself an entire tub of sherbet so he could have ice cream since I didn't get any for him. In my family, the birthday person picks a place to eat on their birthday. I wanted Indian food. My dad hates Indian food, so that was out. I wanted Middle Eastern food as my second pick. He didn't, so that was now out. Eventually, I said, let's go to Cheesecake Factory, which he agreed to, but then complained about it the whole time. In my family, the birthday person also picks a movie, and the family is supposed to all go to see it. I picked Back Rooms. He didn't want to see it, and since I refused to budge, he said he didn't want to come along, so I ended up seeing it by myself. A commenter said, it's also a bit telling of your parents' attitude towards you that you had to bake your own birthday cake. Opie says, I just wanted to buy a cake already made, but the both of them threw a stink about it. My dad threw a fit because he didn't like the cake I originally wanted. My mum threw a fit because she didn't like how store-bought cake tastes. So I just changed the flavor and made it myself to try and keep the peace. Bloody hell. Commenter says, putting back the empty container baffles me. How old are your parents? As a mum, I'd never eat all of something before checking if everyone else had their share. I know my husband does the same. It's very upsetting when you're looking forward to food and later find that you can't have it because someone else ate it or even threw it away without asking you first. You're not just upset about the cake, but the inconsiderateness of it all. Don't feel bad for not getting over it because it's not just about the cake, but the idea that your dad didn't even think about your feelings when he ate all of it, knowing he had multiple slices and proceeded to take the last one and leave the container for you to find. I'm so sorry. I hope he has the decency to buy you a new one or take you out to get a special slice at a nice bakery. Please know that you deserve to be treated with consideration. I hope you have people in your life that will do that for you, even if they are people you haven't met yet or will be a part of your life in the future. Opie came in quoting how old are your parents and says both are elder Gen X, born in the early 1970s. Quoting, your dad didn't even think about your feelings and says, he left a bunch of frosting in the container, so I was literally digging through it to see if there was any actual cake left, and he yelled at me for that. Quoting, hope someone has the decency to buy you a new one and says they won't. Neither of my parents will because they both say I'm a greedy brat for being upset about it. Commenter says, sounds like you need your own fridge with a padlock. I had the same issue as my dad because men don't fucking think. They just go by their base emotions. In this case, I see food, I eat food. I talked to my dad and raised a stink and he stopped. If yours won't, then a mini fridge is a good option. Opie says I asked for a mini fridge but my parents said no, sadly. I'm only here for the summer since I go to college for the rest of the year. I've tried to talk to him about this. I've been polite, I've been firm. Hell, I've actually been mean about it just to try and get my point across. But he always screams at me and then gets my mum to lecture me about making a big deal out of nothing and tempting him with food. Opie on her father and a birthday cake and says he actually didn't even bother to show up for when I did blow out my candles. Didn't want to sing happy birthday or watch me blow out my candles but could show up to eat my entire cake. Commenter says, I'm sorry. He didn't like the kind of cake you wanted on your birthday. I don't know if this is intentionally rage baiting us at this point because your parents are both behaving like total arseholes. Big yikes. Also that your dad either has A, a binge eating disorder, B, zero self-control of his most basic impulses, or C, zero respect or consideration for you. Possibly more than one of those. Personally, I think you should bake another cake and tell them loudly and specifically not to eat it as it is your replacement birthday cake and spike it with surprise ghost chilies. Opie says I fully believe he has binge eating disorder because he hoards fast food wrappers. It's not the first time he's stolen from me. I got a box of protein bars for Christmas. It was a box of 12 and he ate them all and left the empty box in the pantry, then screamed at me for being upset about it and asking him to replace them. I used to go to Crumble Cookies more often and he would eat the cookies I bought with my own money. When I was still in school and buying snacks to bring with my lunch, he would eat the entire pack. My mum likes to make large portions of food so we can live off the leftovers for the week, and he eats it all in a day or two. Opie on getting a job to support herself. Opie says they won't let me get a job while I'm under their roof. I have no savings, no friends that could take me in, no way to get money since I have no car, and need their permission to leave the house and the town we live in. Someone says, did Opie get to celebrate her birthday away from her parents? Opie says, I got to go out with my friends, and there's a boy I liked who wished me happy birthday, so that was nice. I got to see a movie the following weekend, so that was also nice. Opie says, on their background, white, deep South America. Commenter says, your mum blamed you too for tempting him. If I were you, I'd literally make the most of fattening, sugary, calorie-dense cake I could find a recipe for and keep it stocked in the fridge for the rest of the summer. Sorry if that's too petty, but I treat myself for my birthday too, so I get it. Opie says her exact words were, you just like to be mean and cruel. You leave food in the fridge that he likes and just expect him not to have any of it knowing he likes it. And then you throw a temper tantrum after tempting him with it. One more commenter says, let me guess, he doesn't ever cook or bake a damn thing. Opie says correct. When he does cook, he makes it how he likes, which for him means no seasoning at all because according to him it ruins food, and then yells at us if we don't like it or complain. So Opie came in with another post, an update that says, I got my cake. So, hello. I'm the girl who posted a few days ago about how my dad ate almost all of my entire birthday cake while I only got one slice. Things between me and my dad are still not really on good terms. He had a flip out on me the night of my post because he The man who never cooks was hovering over me while I was cooking and trying to micromanage everything I was doing. He was constantly opening the oven after I put stuff in there and repositioning it, lecturing me about what seasonings I was using, asking me repeatedly if I was sure I knew what I was doing. I hate when people hover over me when I'm doing stuff, so this really bothered me. I calmly told him I didn't need help and I could do it myself. He then went on a rant about how he was trying to educate and help me, and if he wasn't wanted then he would just leave. I repeated that I didn't need any help, and he proceeded to take the pot holders I was using and make a show of throwing them across the room before he stormed off. I told my mum and she just sighed and said that I probably caught a tone with him, even though I didn't. I admit that I can sometimes catch an attitude. I'm 19. I think I get a bit of a pass, lol. But I swear that this time, when talking with him, I was calm and level-headed. I made a point of that when I was telling him I could handle the cooking. So yeah, dad is still a giant toddler, and mum is an enabler. Anyways, back to the actual good news and point of this post. Day of my post, I ended up borrowing the car later in the day and buying myself the cake I originally wanted for my birthday. It was a Walmart/market side cake, so nothing special or expensive. It was small, so it's been eaten by now, lol, but oh my god, it was amazing. My mum didn't really care for it because it was store-bought and my dad outright refused to touch it. He complained about the flavor of the cake and also said he wasn't going to set me off by eating it. My mum did unfortunately make me go bring him a slice and apologize for making him feel that way, which my dad thought was hilarious. He ate the cake despite complaining about it. Go figure. So yeah, while this update isn't things getting better with either of my parents, especially not my dad, I did end up taking the suggestion of a lot of people and just went out and bought the cake I originally wanted. ETA, I also saw that my post was reposted on TikTok, so that was quite the surprise to be doom scrolling then hear a Reddit story time of my own post. Lol. Commenter says, it's really sad that your mother just accepts this kind of bullshit from him and thinks you should too. Does she not want men to treat you right? You don't need to keep contact with these people after you move out if it's not adding anything to your life. There's a raised by narcissists. I found it helpful when I left my shitty parents. My dad was an unemployed food thief as well. Opie says, quoting, does she not want men to treat you right, and says, I hate to pull the it's just how things are in my family card, but there's a lot of mean and toxic men in my family. My whole family is a bunch of addicts or untreated mental illness, and nobody talks about it outside of the, oh, we're all crazy, haha, joke. There was an incident where my mum set me up with a guy. We dated for over a year and he dumped me for not sleeping with him, and my mum was on his side at first and wanted us to get back together. She eventually came around to my side, but it hurt still. Commenter says, I'm so mad for you that you have to put up with this fucking bullshit. You deserve better than this. I'm glad you bought your own cake to make yourself happy, but holy shit, everything in your post made me livid. Opie says, yeah, I think I was just used to it during my teen years, and I moved out for college and it's making everything affect me a lot more. It's like I got desensitized from my desensitization. Commenter replies saying, so you said you're 19. Are you hopefully at your parents' house just for the summer? Opie says, yep, just summers and the winter break when school makes us go back. Probably going to spend Thanksgiving, Easter and Mardi Gras break at school. One more commenter says, good for you. It's also good that you are clear on who your parents are. You can just observe your dad throwing his tantrum and your mum adjusting his pacifier and keep a blank face. Save every dime you make in an account they can't touch and plot your escape. Living alone someday is going to be glorious. Opie says, I can't wait to live on my own one day. I also can't wait to one day have my own kids and have them grow up in a house with parents that act like adults. It's going to be one of those stories where years from now or whenever, the parents are going to be shocked why OP doesn't want nothing to do with them. And I liked OP's last comments on this, that one day she wants her own family that's not going to be like the one she's a part of now. She wants to break that cycle, and I really just hope that she does get out. It sounds like because of the whole school thing, she gets away from them for a large part of the year anyway, because these parents just sound absolutely wild. But what do you guys make of this situation? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. Now, just a huge thank you for being here today, getting involved in the stories, your love, your support, your time. It always means the absolute world to me. So thank you so much for being here. Truly is absolutely amazing. And hopefully I'm going to see you in the next one. Take care and much love.